Hi, hello, g'day, kia ora, welcome to the studio. I'm Paula from MoxyMojo. Thank you for joining me for day 11, or the 11th of December. The prompt is leaves and envelope and owl. And this is Throwback Thursday to 2022. I have really no idea what to do with this one. I have got one idea, but yeah, it's a strange one. Still, I like what I've come up with, so let's jump in and see how it turns out. Right, the snack for today, these trolley sour cola clubs, and this is a German snack. So, quite surprised to try this. Or quite interested, not surprised. So, and I am in need of something that will energise me and keep me awake. And keep me inspired. So, here goes. So, I think we have had something like this before. So, they look like little Coke bottles. They are a wee bit sour, but not like ultra sour. I'm not like squeezing up my face like I've had a lemon, but they do taste like cola. As I said, I was struggling with this one for an idea. I kind of had part of it, and that I knew I had what I know as cicada wing paper, and I bought this from Temu, but it's kind of like a brown tissue, but it's not. It feels like, you know, there's some of the papers you get around flowers, but it's even softer and lighter than what you normally get in flowers. It is really thin. It's like, feels like thin tissue, which explains the cicada wings reference, because yeah, it is very light, and its size is 42 centimetres by 35 centimetres, and I think I got a pack of like 10 or 20 sheets. So we've got a sheet of that. So that was the original inspiration. And then I went looking through the Graphics Fairy members website, because I have a membership, for a picture of an owl. And then I found this glorious beast. And I thought, that is my inspiration. So my second idea was, okay, let's just print this out and turn it into an envelope, and we are done. We've got the owl, we've got leaves, we've got an envelope. 5 minutes and I'm organised. But I thought, no, I want to put this up. I'm going to actually put this one up on my wall, frame it, because I just think it is so beautiful. But I'm going to try and recreate it and make my version of this owl on an envelope. So, here goes nothing, everything. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I've pulled out some envelopes. This one was from Robin. This one is from a pack of cards that I bought to turn into Christmas cards and haven't got around to. And this one was in my stash, and I don't know, it's like a seal one, and I don't know where I got it from. So I was thinking these ones might be a bit small for recreating that. This one's good, but it is bigger than my normal journal, because this is like the normal journal page that I make. So what I am thinking I will do is I'll cut this down to size. So now I've found my owl, so I'm going to use this owl, which I also found on the Graphics Fairy website. And here's the other, because I printed two to a page so that I could have like one like this and then already pre-fussy cut one, because I knew I didn't want you to sit and watch me fussy cut that out. But then I also printed off 4 of them on sticker paper, and I fussy cut one of those out. So again, this was just A4 sticker paper, photo paper. This was also single-sided matte photo paper, but I did this one at the best quality, and this one was just like good quality, I think it was. So you can see a bit of a difference there. But, I mean, they're not going to be together all that often. But I thought, well, that would be quite a nice thing to have to use in other creating. And as a sticker on the photo paper, that will be really cool to put into whatever I want to make. So I might just stick one of those on an envelope to see what it looks like. This is the size that we want. I want it to be this size or smaller so that I can put it into one of my normal journals. So what I'm going to do is just trim this envelope down to size. So I'm going to just mark where I want it to be, and we're going to go for, and I'm going to make it maybe just a smidge smaller. So there, and there. There. Bring in my trusty guillotine, and we're going to trim off this side first. Done, and then done. Then I thought what I was contemplating, okay, now that it's open, because I was thinking, okay, well, do I need to pull it completely apart? Photo 2. Oh, maybe it had photos in it then. Right, okay, I'm going to leave that there. So this is our paper. So is that going to fit that way? Ooh, just. So maybe I have the fold there, and because that gives me about 1/4 of an inch on either side, and if we fold like that, so I mean, you're still going to see that it's a white envelope through there, but it's just on its own. I don't think this cicada paper is going to be thick enough or to hold and support the owl or anything else, and I want it to be able to function as a page in a journal. So I think we're going to have to go this way. So now, maybe that way. So what I might do now is if I put a wee mark, if I go do a mark there, oops, don't drop your pencil, Paula. Sorry, grabbing this back. Crash, bang, destroy the place while I'm at it. And so we're lining that up there. Lining that up there. Hopefully this will cut okay. Yep. Okay, so we've got a little bit of scrap left. Oh, quite a big bit of scrap. So I'm going to do one page at a time, so long as I make sure I line up the bottom with there and the side with that edge, we are good to go. So shift that out of the way so I've got as much space as possible. I'll bring that in at the last minute. Okay, so all glued down. You might have seen that in the middle I quickly had to chop off that corner and just round it, which I've gone a bit in a bit far, but that's okay. I just didn't want it straight up, but I have gone like on an angle, so I haven't got a lot of turn up here, but that's okay because that's going to be sealed in. So all stuck down. That went as better than I was fearing the worst, but it's turned out all right. So what I'm going to do now is I need to trim across here, and I think I'm going to leave kind of this 1/4 of an inch outside, and then this bit here I'm going to cover the inside of this flap. So we're going to go up and just trim that 1/4 of an inch ish, depending on, and because I'm eyeballing this, the only thing is I think it might mean I'm a wee bit short, but that's why I'm doing the 1/4 of an inch excess. Whoops. Trying to cut in one straight line. So that's the only other bit that is going to be different on either side of the envelope, but that's okay. I haven't got one to match on the other side, but I'm not going to worry about that. There, that's all we need. Now, hopefully we can make do with, yep, have we got enough? Yes, perfect. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue over this edge. So I need to trim into these corners and around this curve, which I kind of wish I'd thought about earlier. And then same here, because we're going to trim around this corner. No, might need to do, I might just do there. And then this corner, we're going to go there, so a little bit extra. Okay, so that seems dry enough. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a thin line of glue down this side and the bottom here, and then we will fold it over into place, and that will seal up our envelope. So let's quickly do that now, and then we can get on to decorating. So, I mean, this is our kind of our creating our envelope and altering it all in one. Although, I mean, I'd probably call this like making the base mainly. Right, hang on, thinking of, well, not thinking, focusing, I should say. But that's too many syllables. Right, so there, and try not to glue yourself, Paula. And there, we now have an envelope. Now, because I'm going to leave this, or when oh no, actually, I do want to fold that down, so there. So, I mean, you can just see a little bit there. So maybe if I'd been wiser to it and thinking ahead, I would have fixed that side there. But, you know, it's because I'm going to put it into a journal like this. So here's my journal page. I'm going to put it into the signature like this, so that you'll have on this side of the signature will be that one, and then this will be a flat that you can Frankenpage onto. It's not really going to make much of a difference. So anyway, we've got that there, so long as I know that I've only got this space for decorating. So now we've got our owl, and to be honest, I like just looking at it, I much rather prefer the browny tones behind than the white. But then, I mean, this is just the way it printed out. And just, I've tried to do as small a border as possible on the owl, so you can barely see the border for my fussy cutting. So, but yeah, I do prefer the brown, much nicer. So now we are going to adhere this in place. So we've got all our glue down, and now we are going to put you down a bit. We want you down a bit. So I've just got a wee patch of glue I need to clean up there, because I remembered I need to leave room for my crown. Alright, so there we go. Yep, I like that position. Now we are going to really make a focal point out of this. So I've pulled out some bits from Tanya. I've pulled out some bits from Robin, including this cloth, which I thought would look awesome as a base for the nest. So I'm just going to chop a little bit off. So we don't want too much. And it's kind of stretchy too, so I'm going to utilise that. And I also know it fluffs everywhere, so I just have to be aware of that. So we'll pull off any fluffs, extra fluffs from the cutting process. Get rid of those. Now, how long, because we're going to create our nest in here. So we don't need too much. But I'm also going to use some of this, and this is that like bottle wrapping stuff, packaging stuff, glass packaging stuff, because I thought that would make kind of a cool nest. So we've got a little bit of that. So I think I need, and this stuff I know works best when torn. So we've got there. And you might be able to hear in the background if I stop talking long enough. There's actually the hoots of the moorpork, which is a New Zealand owl, and we've got them in the bush behind our house. That's it, I think. And their cry, or their call, sounds like them saying their name, moorpork. So hopefully we'll hear some more of them. But anyway, back to creating. So I want to do, maybe cut this into two. Get rid of some more fluff. So we've got that. So, I don't think I want quite that much, but maybe we'll cut there. So we'll put that bit back. Because we want this to kind of look like our nest. And so I'm going to like layer this. And I mean, I don't mind if I have little wee bits like hanging down below. Right, so there. So we want that bit there kind of scrunched up and out. And I don't know, like, I'm guessing owls live in nests. Like most birds have nests. I didn't actually look that up. Right, so now we're going to stick this down, and I am just going to randomly glue, and then I'm going to have to just press and hold for a wee bit until it attaches. So there, we want a bit more up here, And then I want to push this bit down and hold that there. And then we're going to push that bit to there. And I need to glue that onto there. But trying not to get my fingers to stick, because then I'll pull it up. And then, so we want a little bit there, there, and all the way up to there. And then again, sticking some of this down on top. I've got a hair stuck to there. Ugh. Dab out the glue. Right. So, do we kind of look like we have a nest? Alright. Just give this a squish down. Then I was going to add some of this fluffy wool, just because I think it is so cool. And we can just put like maybe 2 or 3 in there as well for dimension. That's all we need. And I picked up this wool in a local op shop. And it is a Mojo Jazz in the colour number 81. And it was a 50-gram ball, but I don't know what it is now. But I like that, so we need to somehow tuck this in as well. So here we go. Bit more glue to stick things down, so there, that'll hold that end. And then the other end is under here, so we'll just put a big squirt of glue under there. And then I'm going to put some more things on top that should just firm up its place. Now, here comes the fun bit. So I'm just going to shift this out of the way. Now, on my YouTube and my Instagram feed, the last few months, well, weeks, have been all about preserving leaves in glycerin. So I thought I'd give it a go. Now, I was very lucky in that my son-in-law and his friend helped my husband trim the trees down our driveway. So we ended up with like massive big branches in the backyard. So my granddaughter and I went through and picked off some leaves, and then we trimmed them and put them in the glycerin. And this is the result of all our glycerin preserving. So I'm just going to pile them up here. And I'm going to pick out some of the smaller leaves. And this is what I'm going to create my crown out of. So I want these small gold ones, but also whatever. Now they all look green because, of course, we're in the middle of or it's just starting summer here. So, of course, all the leaves are very fresh and looking their best. So I haven't got anything in kind of a orangey yellow kind of colour. Like those little ones. And I love the way that the ivy turned out. I mean, look at that. It's just stunning. So, and that was something I had to make sure I did, was get some ivy. And these little ones, I think this was the Ko-Fi tree. So we've got that. Some more little ones. But, you know, lots of glorious big leaves as well. So, yep, so we did a lot. I actually did a bowl full. And I learnt heaps in the process. And that I think, like, I mean, we wanted to get as many done as possible to save them before they all, like, faded, because you know, green leaves detached from a tree will disappear quite quickly. They'll fade into oblivion type thing. So yeah, we did do a lot, but next time I'd try and do maybe not so many all at once, and plus I don't think I needed quite so much water and glycerin. Alright, so that's kind of picked out some small ones there. And are there any on the second layer that I want? So I might grab some more of these. That is more than enough. Plenty. And so I'm probably gonna store them in as flat of a layer as I can, couple of layers like this, in between the paper towels, and hopefully that will help. So I have pressed them a little bit, just so that they would flatten out. But right, so we want to make a crown for our owl. Now, the inspiration picture, he had pine cones in there, but I haven't got those, so we're not going to get pine cones. But I do like kind of these goldy ones, and it goes quite nice with the background there. Right, so let's just get to cutting and pulling off some leaves. So that's that. I don't think I need those two. So I want some like different colours. Oh, there's some more of those. So now I am just going to create our crown. So I want kind of like 3, and then I want some smaller ones. So then we've got like, and I'm going to have to trim these down, I can tell already. That looks better, like if I can layer them, maybe a smaller one. Oops. Right, what have we got here? I like that olivey colour too. That one's quite firm. There's another small one. Even putting them that way, putting them back to front. Right, I think that's probably enough. Hang on, I haven't got many of those skinny ones. Right. And then we want to put some leaves in here. So, one. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I've kind of got an idea of placement. I'm just going to start sticking them into place because I think I quite like that. So what I might do is just add like the tips of these over the top. About there, is it? So that's one. Two. So now we're going to do a very small bit on there, on the stem, but mainly on the leaves. And stem, there we go. I think that looks nicer. And then our second one. Yeah. Right, just get rid of this excess glue. That's it. That's our crown, that's what we want. I am really pleased with the way that's turned out. Sure, I would have liked my little wee crown, but I think we can all agree that that looks like rubbish. I tried, I failed, I moved on. I think it looks still looks pretty cool like that. Love our nest. And so that's can go into a journal like that. So we've got a working pocket in behind. Then we can turn this flap into something else. I hope I've inspired you to try something completely out of left field. To try something that inspires you. Take something that inspires you and create your own version. And just run with it. Go and have fun. If you're wanting a tutorial on how I made these leaves, then let me know down in the comments below. It's something I am definitely going to try again. Probably next time will be in like the autumn here in New Zealand. When hopefully I can get like some reds and browns and more yellows for my collection. But I'm gonna carry on and use these ones that I've got already, and see what we can come up with. Thank you for joining me and going on this journey with me of discovery. I love it. I think it is really cool. And I will see you back in the studio for the next prompt. Bye for now.